anybody tried BFR in here, blood flow restricted training?
This is another good example too of content that we've created that we could do a better job of serving you.
Yeah, we have a BFR guide.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure we send it to you.
And we made some videos around it, and we've talked about it on a few podcast episodes.
So when that first came out, so here's how it works, right? So occlusion training is the scientific term, but essentially what you do is you tie off a body part to restrict blood flow, but not blood flowing into the muscle, more blood flowing out of the muscle. So it's not so tight that you're totally cutting it off, but it's tight enough to where you could feel some pressure build up. Then you do some light sets of exercise, and there's a structure to it, but essentially you do a bunch of reps, blood goes into the muscle, and it can't come out fast enough, and so you get this pooling and this buildup in the muscle of waste and blood. And so you feel this intense burn in the muscle because your body can't get rid of, or the muscle can't get rid of the waste, and the pump you get is extremely intense. Now it sounds silly and it sounds crazy, but it legit works. Like for real, it really, really works. Now it's not going to replace resistance training. It's not going to replace.
Well, you know where this got
heavy lifting.
popular. You know where this came from, right? Where it started in sports.
Rehab.
Yeah. So it's an incredible tool for that. So
why did they use it for rehab? Because if I have a hurt knee, I can't do a lot of weight on my, for my quads, but I don't want to lose all this muscle. But if I do occlusion training where I tie off the quad, then I can use really light weight and still get a muscle building effect. And it's very effective for rehab. But it does work, it really does. I mean, you do it on your arms, you do it on your calves, you could do it for the upper thighs. The trunk muscles you can't really do it for because you can't really tie off the lats or the pecs or anything like that. And you'll notice some growth. But it's one of those advanced techniques. It's an advanced technique. It should be sprinkled in here and there, and it doesn't give you nearly the results that traditional resistance training. It's not going to replace any of your foundational stuff, but it's legit. It looks weird when you're in the gym. I'll tell you that much. You got
like the
a
ultimate
knee wrap.
warrior.
Yeah, you got a knee wrap up in your crotch, and you're doing 5 pounds on leg extension and.
It's a great volume builder. If you have like a structured program already that you're following, and let's say you're trying to use it for your arms or your calves or your quads, one of your limbs, and you're already got a good strength training cycle you're running, and then you have these off days that you want to do occlusion training, I see a lot of value in it. It's great for that because you're not doing such heavy weight that it's really intense and you feel like you've done a lot of damage or a lot of stress on the joints. So it's a great way to build volume. Now, we talked a lot about this early on when we were all very fascinated when the science first was coming out, and we toyed around with it for a while. That's what made us write the guide. And we saw lots of benefits from it. But then I saw the one way that it had detriments was I allowed it to start to replace some of my strength training. I was so fascinated by the results that I was getting from it that I was like, I'll just do some occlusion training today. I'll just do some occlusion training again today. And because it started to replace my traditional strength training, I started to see the return from it diminish. So you got to be careful that it's not cutting into traditional strength training. Your strength training that you're following for whatever body part is your foundation. And then if you wanted to add volume, I think it's a cool tool for that. But just be careful that it doesn't replace that, because if you do that, you won't see the same kind of gains from it.
Knee wraps too. Just use knee wraps. I know they sell all these weird devices. Just regular knee wraps will work just fine for it.